Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shiur.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Yomi Shabbos Daf Kuftes. We have 3 lines from the top. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Puch, eye mascara, eye paint applied to one's eye. Ma'avir Bas Melech removes the evil spirit, the effect of the Ruach HaTumah. So we learned Daf Kufches that during sleep, the Ruach HaTumah rests on one's hands, so he needs to wash them prior to touching any opening in his body. So if one's eye was harmed by coming into contact with his unwashed hands, so how does one remove the effect of the Ruach HaTumah? Puch, by applying this mascara, Ma'avir Bas Melech, it removes the evil spirit called Bas Melech. What else does the Puch do? It stops the tears, and increases the growth of the eyelashes. Tanya Nami Hachi, we learned the same in the Brisa. Rabbi Yossi Puch, the eye paint, this mascara applied to one's eye, Ma'avir Bas Melech, it removes the evil spirit, stops the tears, and increases the growth of the eyelashes in one's eyelids. V'amar mar ukva amar shmo. Olin, if one eats olin, Rashi says kach shem esav. This is the name of a specific type of grass. Ein behem mishum refuah. They don't have any therapeutic powers, and they don't heal one's eyes. So the effect is very minimal, and one is allowed to eat on Shabbos. It is not a refuah. Amar Rav Yosef kusparta, coriander, ein ba mishum refuah. As well, this does not affect any refuah, any healing to one's eyes. Amar Rav Sheshes kishus, this is hops, ein ba mishum refuah. Likewise, it does not have any healing effect on one's eyes. Amar Rav Yosef kusbarta, coriander, afilu lididi, even to me, Rav Yosef was blind, even to me, koshali has a harmful effect on my eyes. That's how bad it is. Amar Rav Sheshes gargira, this is a plant called a rocket plant, afilu lididi mali, even to me, Rav Sheshes as well was blind, even for me, when I take it mali, it actually benefits my eyes. All types of hops, sure, one is allowed to ingest it on Shabbos because it is something which is eaten even by healthy people. So although it has a therapeutic effect on this person, one is allowed to ingest food which is generally eaten by healthy people. As we learned, the rule of thumb when it comes to the Isser or Refuah, it only applies to something which is muchach, which is it's an obvious act of refuah, but something which is eaten by healthy people as well, it's not visible, it's not obvious that he's doing it for refuah. So even a person who's taking it for the sake of refuah, it's mutar on Shabbos. So that's what the Gemara is saying. Kol minei kishus, all types of hops, sharu, are allowed to be taken on Shabbos because it is something which healthy people will eat as well. Levar, except for this type of hops, levar metruza, some type of hops, which is something which is primarily taken by unhealthy people, and therefore it is muchach in this case that he's doing it for a refuah, and therefore it's us. Amar Rav Chizda, shrika tavya shari. One is allowed to baste roasted meat, to smear with eggs, with oil. It's not considered to be tikkun, fixing the food. Piafui bei asa. However, to scramble eggs, that's asa, because it appears as though he's preparing it for cooking. Continues the Gemara. Dvisu Ziri, the wife of Ziri, of the Leilachia Barashi, she prepared this type of food. She basted the roasted meat for Chia Barashi, who was the Talmud, the student of Ziri. So she prepared for her husband's Talmud, and he didn't want to eat it. Harmerle, so she told him, L'rabach Avdilei, for your teacher, for your Rebbe, meaning Ziri, who was her husband, I prepared this for him. And he ate it. And you don't eat it? Says the Gemara, Ziri, the Rebbe who actually had no hesitation to eat this type of the food, to prepare this type of food, he's consistent with his own opinion stated elsewhere. The Amar, Ziri said as follows. The Amar Ziri, Noisan Adam Yayin Solol, one may place clear wine, umayim slulum, and clear water, l'seicha meshameres, into a strainer b'Shabbos, without any concern. He does not have any concerns for a melacha of bayr or separation. There's no concern whatsoever. Alma, apparently, why does the Mishnah say he does not have to have any concerns? Alma, apparently, kivan the mishtati, since they are drunk as is, without straining, lav mitikava. Therefore, he didn't actually accomplish anything. He didn't do anything. Legally, he hasn't done anything, since it is perfectly fit to be drunk as is prior to straining. Here as well, when it comes to smearing the meat, given the misach l'hachi, since it's eaten as is, it doesn't require basting. Lav mitikavad. So if one bastes it, one smears it, it's not considered as if he's accomplishing much, as if he's really be masaking it. He's simply enhancing it. It's not considered to be legally significant and asur on Shabbos. Continues the Gemara of Amar Mar Ukva. Misha Nogfa Yoda Yeragle, one who struck his hand or his foot and it got swollen. You can go ahead and reduce the swelling with wine. So he has no concern of refuah because the effect is minimal. It's not considered to be a refuah. So you can go ahead and apply wine to his wound, to his swelling, without any concern on Shabbos. So they asked the following question: Cholamai, what about using vinegar? Amar Rav Hillel Rav Ashi, Ki Avina B'Rav Kahana. When I was at the Besmeders, the yeshiva Rav Kahana, Amri, they said as follows: Cholalai, when it comes to vinegar, that's not allowed to be used on Shabbos. That is considered to be a proper healing method, and there's a refuah which is also on Shabbos. Amar Rava, v'hani b'nei Mechayza. So Rava actually lived in Mechayza. He said the residents of Mechayza, kiva de mefaki, since they're so sensitive and finicky, so anything with even slight sharpness affects them. And in this case, afilu chamra nami masilu, even merely using wine has a therapeutic effect. It heals them, and therefore they cannot use this on Shabbos. So it's all relative. If for them this is considered to be a refuah, an effective treatment method, it's considered to be a refuah, and it's also on Shabbos. Continues to Ravina ikla Rav Ashi. Ravina came to the place of Rav Ashi. Chazi. So he noticed the drichle chamra agaba dekari. So he saw that a donkey actually stepped on the top of his foot. V'Yosef, and Rav Ashi was sitting. Kotsamas lebechala. He was reducing the bloating, the swelling, by applying vinegar to his wound. Amar Leis Ravina told him, Lo Yisava Lamar, do you not hold of the halacha, Lahadam Rav Hillel? This that Rav Hillel taught, Chalaloi, one cannot apply vinegar in this case. It's a refuah on Shabbos. How can you do this on Shabbos? Amar Lei, so Rav Ashi responded, this is different. Gav Hayad, V'gav HaRegel, the top of a wound which was inflicted to the top of one's hand, V'gav HaRegel, on top of one's foot. Shani, that's different, because that's considered to be life-threatening. And therefore one can involve himself in refuah on Shabbos when it comes to these types of wounds. Ikadamri, some say, the story went as follows. Chaze de Kutsamas lebechamra. Ravina noticed that Rav Ashi was reducing the swelling using wine. Amarle, he told him, Lo Yisava Mar, do not hold of Lahadam Rava. This the Rava said, Hari b'nei Mechayza, those residents of Mechayza, given them mefaki, on account of their sensitivity. Filu chamer nami masilu, even wine will heal them, and they cannot engage even with reducing the swelling using wine on Shabbos. Umar nami, and you as well, hamafanak, you're also sensitive, and wine is actually an effective healing treatment. So how can you do this on Shabbos? Amalei, so he responded the same thing. Gav hayad v'gav regel shani. A wound inflicted to the top of one's hand or foot is different. Gav hayad v'gav haregel hareyen kemaka shel chol. A wound inflicted in those locations is equated with a wound, an internal wound. Umachal naleis Shabbos, and one can actually desecrate Shabbos, is considered to be pikuach nefesh. Continues in Gemara Tanar Rabbanan, we learned in a brayso. Roichsim b'mei gror, one may bathe on Shabbos in water from grog. Rashi says there was slightly salty water. The reason why you can do it on Shabbos is because it's something which is used by even healthy people, and therefore it is not obvious that he's using it for refuah. So you can use Mei Gror, B'mei Chamson, B'mei Asya. Apparently, according to Rashi, all these are slightly salty. According to other Rishonim, other Pshatim, the Gemara is referring to hot water springs. So one may bathe in all these types of waters. Ubimei Tveria, this is certainly the hot water springs found in Tveria. Avaloi b'Yam HaGadol, but it can't bathe in the Yam HaGadol. Yam HaGadol is referring to the great body of water which surrounds the continents and the oceans that are connected to it. So one may not bathe in the Yam HaGadol because it's obvious that he's doing it for remedial purposes, for medicine, for refuah. V'loi b'mei Mishra, nor may bathe in this foul-smelling water which is used for soaking of flax. Once again, it's obvious, it's muchach, that he's doing for refuah. V'loi b'Yam Shel Stoim, nor may bathe in the Yam of Stoim, in the Yam HaMelech, in the Dead Sea. So although we learned in Daf Ches that one can take from the Yam Shel Stoim and rinse his eye with it, speaking about taking out some water. But here we're speaking about going into the Yam, bathing in the Yam Shel Stoim. That is muchach, obvious that he's doing it for refuah. Continues the Gemara. V'raminu, we have a contradiction from another brisa. So brisa number 1 told us that Yam HaGadol is not permitted. The second brisa allows. The second brisa says Reichtzen b'mei Tveria. One may bathe in Mei Tveria. U'b'Yam HaGadol. Avaloi b'mei Mishra, but not in this water used to soak the flax, v'loi b'Yam Shel Stoim, nor in the Yam of Stoim. So we have a contradiction. Kasha, Yam HaGadol, Yam HaGadol. We have a kasha contradiction from the between the first brisa, which asers prohibits Yam HaGadol, and the second brisa which permits. It's not a kasha. They reflect different opinions. Harab Meir, Harab Yehuda. The first Mishnah reflects the Shitita of Yehuda, who makes a distinction, separates between the Yam HaGadol and other seas, whereas Reb Meir equates everything, and therefore Yam HaGadol is permitted just like the other seas. Let's see the machlekes. The Snan, as we learned in a Mishnah. This is regarding the halacha of mikvah. So Rashi explains that there are two categories of mikvah. So one is mikvah, a gathered body of water, and then there is something called mayim chayim, natural spring water. Now, what are the two major differences between these two types of bodies of water with regard to immersion, regard to being matar oneself from tumah by immersing himself in them? So there are two major differences. One is the position of the water. A mikveh is only matar, is only effective when the water is at a standstill, standing in one place, contained in one makom. Whereas when it comes to mayim chayim, natural spring water, that is matar even bezoichlin, even when it's in motion, when it's on the move, when it's flowing. That's the natural state of spring water. It's flowing, it's on the move. It's matar bezoichlin. That's the first difference. Number two, there are certain tmeim, certain situations where one specifically needs to immerse himself in mayim chayim, in live water, which is issued forth from the ground, spring water, for instance, a zav, a mitzorah. Likewise, to go ahead and be mekadesh the ephah of the parah, to prepare the water of the paraduma. For that, we require mayim chayim. So that's unique, that's special to live water, spring water, as opposed to enclosed, contained water. That is not suitable for the zav or the mitzorah or to prepare the paraduma water. Now, what is the halachic status of oceans, of seas? We have a machlekes. Says the Mishnah, it's not as well to the Mishnah. Kol hayamim, all the seas, all the oceans, kemikveh, are categorized, have the halachic status of a mikveh, of a contained body of water, and therefore they have both halachas applied to them. Number one, they only work when they are at a standstill, when they're standing still. But if they're flowing, they're in motion, they don't work. One cannot use them as a mikveh. Number two, they are not regarded as mayim chayim, as live water, like spring water. How do we know this? How do we know that all the oceans and the seas are categorized as a mikveh? Shenamar, as it says in the pasuk, ulu mikveh hamayim, to the gathering of water. Kara yam Hashem, called yamim, oceans, seas. So you see that the seas and the oceans are regarded as a mikveh. Divrei Meir. So Meir equates between all the oceans and seas. They're all categorized as mikveh. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Yam HaGadol k'mikveh. This categorization, this status is specific, is unique to the Yam HaGadol, the great body of water which surrounds the world, the continents, and the oceans that are connected to it. However, an inland sea, that is not considered to be like a mikveh. So Rabbi Yehuda makes that distinction between the Yam HaGadol, which has a din of mikveh, and the inland seas, which are not connected to that great body of water which surrounds the world. Those are not considered to be like a mikveh, and those are matar even when they're on the move, and they don't have that restriction of mikveh. V'lo nemar yamim. Now, Rabbi Yehuda is addressing the pasuk. The pasuk says, "Ulu mikveh hamayim kora yamim." Apparently, the pasuk is referring to plural yamim, all the seas and the oceans. Says Rabbi Yehuda, "V'lo nemar yamim." The pasuk only uses the word yamim. Ela sheyesh boy mina yamim. It's only referring to the Yam HaGadol. But why refer to it in a plural term? Because within the Yam HaGadol is contained many yamim, all the many oceans. They all flow to the Yam HaGadol. It contains many different types of seas, of oceans that flow into it. But certainly the pasuk, which considers this thing as a mikveh, is only referring to the Yam HaGadol, but all other seas are certainly regarded as like mayim chayim, as fresh water, and therefore they are matar even when they're on the move, when they're in motion, and they can be used for the zav, for the mitzvah, etc. So according to Rabbi Yehuda, we see that clear distinction between ordinary seas and the Yam HaGadol. So let's stop just for a moment. So this is what the Gemara means, that this will resolve the contradiction between the two brises. Brisa number 1, which made that distinction and said that Yam HaGadol is not suitable on Shabbos because it is considered to be an act of refuah. Apparently, that's found in the Shiur of Rabbi Yehuda, who makes that distinction between the Yam HaGadol and all other seas. Perhaps Rabbi Yehuda holds that the Yam HaGadol is different, perhaps on account of its higher salt content. So therefore, with regard to Shabbos as well, it's considered to be an act of refuah. Whereas Reb Meir equates between all the seas and the oceans, doesn't differentiate. So the second brisa, which doesn't differentiate as well, reflects the Shiur of Reb Meir. So these are so far the two shittas regarding the status of the oceans pertaining to Tumah Vatar. We have a third shit, Rabbi Yossi. Amen. Rabbi Yossi follows in concept the Shiur of Reb Meir, who doesn't differentiate between the Yam HaGadol and all other seas, the inland seas, for instance. He doesn't differentiate. But he says like this: I agree that all the oceans, all the seas, are not regarded as live water, as spring water, and therefore they're unsuitable for the zav and the mitzvah and to be used for the mechatas, the paraduma water. However, Rabbi Yossi says, I hold that all oceans are suitable for immersion, for tefillah, even when they're in motion. Why? Because the natural state of these bodies of water is to be constantly in motion due to the inherent current which drives them, which moves them, propels them. So it's not logical to say that Torah disqualifies them on account of their movement. Says Rabbi Yossi, Aimer, Kol hayamim mitar b'zaychel. All seas, all oceans will be mitar even when they're in motion, because that's their teva, that's their nature. Upsulim. Now I agree that certainly they're not regarded as live water, as mayim chayim. Therefore, they're all unsuitable. They're disqualified from being used l'zavim, for immersion of the zavim, mitzayroim, l'kalish mechatos. So Rabbi Yossi takes that middle route. He says, in general, in concept, I agree to Reb Meir that we're not meant to differentiate different seas and oceans. So with regard to different situations that require live water, mayim chayim, these things are regarded as a mikveh. They're not suitable for the tefillah of the zav, etc. However, he maintains that they are still effective. They're still suitable for tefillah even when they're in motion, because that's their natural state. So in summary, we have three shittas when it comes to oceans and seas. We have Reb Meir who says that all of them are categorized together as mikveh, and therefore they're not considered to be mayim chayim, and they're not metayr when they're zeichel, when they're in motion. Rabbi Yehuda says this restriction only applies to Yam HaGadol. Rabbi Yossi says all seas and oceans are not considered to be mayim chayim. However, certainly they can be metayr when they're in motion, when they are on the move, because that's their natural state due to their currents which propel them. So once again, we answered our stira contradiction. Brisa number 1, which sets apart the Yam HaGadol from the other seas, reflects the Shiur of Rabbi Yehuda. Brisa number 2, which equates all the seas, reflects the Shiur of Reb Meir. Continues the Gemara, Mask Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. He challenged this resolution. He says, Eimor de pligi linituma v'tahara. You can only say that the machlokes is perhaps with regard to Tumah V'Tahara, specifically when it comes to immersion, when it comes to Tefillah, because of the Psukim. It has nothing to do with the salt content of the bodies of water. This machlekes discussed here regarding Tefillah is simply based on the Psukim. It has no relevance to Shabbos, to Refuah. Linin Shabbos mishamas lu. When it comes to Shabbos, did you ever hear that we have the same machlekes? There's no relevance. You can't compare one to the other. So this is not a good answer on the contradiction between the brises. Ella Amar of Nachman bar Yitzchak. So he said as follows. Let's answer the steer as follows. Like kasha, it's not a kasha. Hadi ishtoi, hadi lo ishtoi. Brisa number 1, which says that one may not bathe himself in the Yam HaGadol, is speaking about a case where he enters the Yam HaGadol and he lingers, he tarries, he stays there for a while, in which he makes it obvious. Why is he going in there? For a refuah. Therefore it's asa. Brisa number 2, which allows immersion in the Yam HaGadol, is speaking of the lo ishtoi. He hadn't lingered around, he went in and out quickly. Therefore, it simply looks like he's just taking a dip. He's not using it for a full and it's mutar on Shabbos. Says the Mayo Kimta Lebas Raisa. Okay, so how did you interpret? How did you establish Brisa number 2, which allows the lo yishtoi? We're speaking about that he didn't linger there. If so, if that's the case, I feel mishra nami. Even if he would do that in a mishra, the water used to soak the flax, the foul-smelling water, if he simply goes in and out for a quick dip, it's mutar. Now, Brisa number 2 tells us that in the Mei Mishra or in the Yam Shel Stoim, one cannot enter. If it's speaking about a quick in and out, why not? Ta'asanya. Because haven't we learned? Roichatzin b'mei Tveria, one may go ahead and rinse himself in Mei Tveria, ube Mei Mishra, and in water used to soak the flax, ube Yam Shel Stoim, and in the Yam of Stoim, even though he has wounds in his head, why is he no concerned with refuah? What are we speaking about? He hadn't lingered there. He went quickly in and out. So it's mutar in any case, in any body of water. It doesn't look like refuah. But if he lingers, then it's asr. So if a person just goes in and out, there's no concern whatsoever. So how could you say the Brisa number 2 is speaking about in and out? Then why is there any restrictions whatsoever? Why can't he do it in the Mei Mishra? So apparently, both Brises are speaking about a case where a person lingers, he tarries, he's sitting there for a while. Therefore, we're back to the kasha. We have a contradiction between Brisa number 1, which says Yam HaGadol is asr, and Brisa number 2, which tells us bathing Yam HaGadol is mutar. Says in where Ella rather like this: Yam HaGadol, Yam HaGadol kasha. There's no kasha between the Brises, which have opposing presentations of Yam HaGadol. It's not difficult. They're speaking about different scenarios. Ha be'yofen shabai. It depends what type of water in the Yam HaGadol. What is he bathing in? Fine water, clean water, or dirty water, foul water? So if he's going biyofen shabai in fine water, clean water in the Yam HaGadol, in that case, it's mutar. It simply looks like he's going to take a dip. He's rinsing himself, he's washing himself. It doesn't look like a refuah. And that is the situation in Brisa number 2, which allows the Yam HaGadol. However, Brisa number 1, which says the Yam HaGadol is asr, speaking about he's bathing in the roin shabai, the foul water of the Yam HaGadol. In which case it's obvious that why is he doing it? He's doing it for refuah, so it's asr. Continues the Gemara. So we had this Brisa over here, Brisa number 3, which told us that a person can go into any body of water provided that he goes quickly in and out. So how does this work with the other Brisas that told us that one cannot immerse in Mei Mishra, this foul-smelling water, because it's obvious and evident that he's doing it for refuah? Mei Mishra, nami lekasha. There's no contradiction whatsoever between the Mei Mishra and Brisa number 3 and the Mei Mishra and the earlier Brisas, which the Brisas tell us I can't do it. Like kasha, it's not kasha. Why? Hadishtoi, hadalayishtoi. The previous Brisas were discussing a situation where he's lingering there. In which case it's obvious that he's doing it for remedy. This Brisa here, which allows, is clearly speaking about the loyishtoi. He's not tarrying, he's not lingering there, and therefore it simply looks like he's taking a quick dip and does not look like a refuah, and therefore it's mutar. So in summary, the concept here is if a person engages in an act, an activity in which even a healthy person would engage in, then it doesn't look like a refuah and it's mutar on Shabbos. However, if it is something in which it's obvious, his intentions are evident and clear, it looks like a refuah. For instance, going into the foul water of the Yam HaGadol, going into the Yam Shel Stoim, or into the Mei HaMishra. For a while he's tarrying, he's lingering in there. It appears that he's going for a refuah. In this case, indeed it's asur because it looks like a refuah. Continues the Mishnah. So we're going to have a whole discussion in the Gemara regarding various remedies applied to various ailments. And it's interesting that the Mefarshim speak out that we learn it, but we don't actually attempt to apply these remedies for various reasons. Firstly, it's a bit difficult to know the whether we can accurately identify the various herbs and grasses described by the Chacham, certainly the specifics of their preparation. Also, Taisus in Moed Katan says that Nishtanu Ativim, the nature has actually changed, people's nature has changed, and things that were effective, medicines that were effective in time of Chachamim, are not necessarily effective nowadays. So we learn it, but not necessarily are these things effective for us, and one certainly should not attempt these remedies and these medicines. Okay, let's go with the Mishnah. Ein oichlan zoivim b'Shabbos. So the concept is going to be that the Issa or Refuah is only provided that two conditions are met. Chachamim restricted their ban on taking medicines only. Number one, if the person's unwell. Number two, he's taking something which by nature is primarily taken as a medicine. But if both these conditions are not met, for instance, if a person, even if he's unwell, but he's ingesting something which even healthy people would eat, it doesn't have that remedy status to it. Alternatively, if a healthy person consumes something which is considered a medicine, but he's taking it for its nutritional value, and it's mutter. So only if the person is unwell and the item which he's ingesting is considered to be a medicine, only in that case is it asur on account of the Isser of Shabbos. So that's going to be the concept, the formula, the basis for the Mishnah and the upcoming Gemara. Now there are various plants and grasses and items that are described here, and some things were researched and translated properly. Some things are left unknown. Okay, we could just try to learn it to the best of our ability and describe to the best of what we know today. Some things are left unknown, so we learn it and we'll try our best. Let's say the Mishnah. Ein oichlan zoivim b'Shabbos. One may not eat this herb called zoivion, which is translated as lavender. One cannot eat this on Shabbos. Why? It's not food which is eaten by healthy people. It's obvious that he's eating it for a refuah. But this fellow, even if he's unwell, he can eat this plant called yoyezer. The Gemara will describe. And he can drink this beverage called abavroya. The Gemara will describe what this is. Why? Rashi explains because many people eat this even when they're healthy. So it's not necessarily categorized as a medicine. Therefore, even an unwell person could eat this on Shabbos. Continues the Mishnah. All types of food a person may eat, even if he's eating it so that it heals him. All types of beverages a person could drink, except mimei de kolim, palm water. The Gemara will describe this. Because ikrin, and this drink which is made with they crush into this beverage roots. Rashi says ikra yiraka, some roots and spices. So one cannot drink these things. Why? Because these things are meant for one that has a condition of jaundice. So it's obviously used for refuah, and it's also on Shabbos. Aval shoisu made the kolim litzmoy. But if he's a healthy person and he's simply drinking the made the kolim to quench his thirst, then he's allowed to because he's a healthy person. V'soch shemen ikrin. Alternatively, he can smear on himself, anoint himself with shemen ikrin. This is oil which was enhanced with root extracts and spice extracts. So a person can anoint himself with this type of oil if his intention is not for healing purposes. So once again, the concept is either if the item is not something which is categorized as a medicine, or the person is healthy and he's simply taking it for its nutritional value, or in the case of the shemen, simply to anoint himself, not for purpose, it's mutter. Rav Yosef. So the Mishnah began by describing this thing called ezoivyon. Now we know there's something called ezoiv in the Torah, which is used to sprinkle the ashes, the water of the paraduma. The Gemara will contrast these two things, the ezoivyon and the ezoiv. Rav Yosef. Ezoiv, how exactly do we describe the ezoiv which is mentioned in the pasuk in the Torah? Ezoiv is avrasa. Avrasa barhemek. It's a certain type of plant called avrasa barhemek. What is ezoivyon mentioned now, Mishnah? It's slightly different. Ezoivyon is avrasa barhinek. So Rashi says that avrasa barhemek is this plant which grows near the hemek is describing the gemi, the reed grass, and avrasa barhinek is the one that grows between the thorn bushes. Continues the Gemara. Ula said that ezoiv described in the Torah is actually marva chivra. It's something called white sage. Says the Gemara, Ula ikla leber Shmuel bar Yehuda. So Ukla came to the place of Shmuel bar Yehuda. Aisul kamei, they brought before him marva chivra, this plant called white sage. Amar, so Ula exclaimed, he said, Hi no ezoiv d'chsev b'Oraisa. This exactly is the ezoiv which is contained in the pasuk. This is the one used by the paraduma. Rav Papi Amar, he said, he had a dissenting view. He said that, you know what the ezoiv in the Torah is? It's actually shumshuk or sumsuk. That is the ezoiv. Amar of Yirim Midifti. Kavasei de Rav Papi Mistaver. It's actually logical. The description of Papi is actually more logical. Why? This not because we learned in our Mishnah. The Mishnah describes the ezoiv, mitzvah's ezoiv. What is the mitzvah of the ezoiv? Shloisha klachen. 3 stalks, ubehen shloisha gevoilim, which in each stalk is present 3 capsules. V'shumsuk hu d'mishtach ha'achi, and this is exactly how one describes sumsuk. Sumsuk is found to have this description, has these 3 capsules in each stalk. So it's apparent that this is the proper description of the ezoiv. Okay, so we have various opinions regarding the ezoiv in the Torah. Let's get back to our Mishnah. Mishnah told us one cannot eat this lavender because it's a remedy to refor. Says more lamai achle. For what condition would one eat this? What ailment does this come to heal? Lukukyani, it comes to heal a condition which is kukyani with the intestinal bugs, intestinal worms. But my achle, with what is this plant eaten as a remedy? B'sheva tamri uchmasa, together with 7 black dates. Mimai havya, what causes this condition, these intestinal worms? Mekimcha desari, if one eats barley flour, to cholif olei arbon yoimin, which are 40 days old. Continues the Gemara, aval oichlo she'ezer, but certainly one may go ahead and eat the ezer. Why? Because Rashi says many eat it, even healthy people eat it. Mayay ezer, what exactly is this? Putnak, some type of plant. Lamai achla, for what condition does one eat it? What ailment does it come to heal? La'arkasa, it comes to heal liver worms. Worms which are found in one's liver. But my achla, with what is this eaten? B'sheva tamri chivrasa, together with 7 white dates. My havya, what is this condition, this ailment come from? What causes it? Me'umtsa umaya. If one eats raw meat which was roasted on coals, umaya together with water, alibirei kana, on an empty stomach. Ubisra shmeina alibirei kana, from eating fatty meat on an empty stomach. Ubisra detura alibirei kana, from eating ox meat on an empty stomach. Me'amagoiza alibirei kana, from eating a nut on an empty stomach. Umegiri derubia, and from eating stems of this fenugreek plant, alibere kana, on an empty stomach. Umishti maya basrayu, and from drinking water after these various foods. So he did this on an empty stomach. This results in that condition described earlier. So what does he do? He takes this remedy of the yezer with these 7 white dates, V'iloi. Now, if he doesn't have this this specific herb, or as Rashi says, he tried it and it didn't work. So what's the alternative? The Gemara is going to have this many times over, going to offer a remedy, and then say, Eloi, give us an alternative. So what is the alternative medicine here? Livla tachle chivrasa. He should swallow white cress. V'iloi, and otherwise, what is it? Another solution? Leisi b'tanisa. He should fast. V'leisi bisra shmena, and then they should bring him fatty meat. V'lishti agurmri, and he should throw it onto coals. V'leimitz garma, and he should take a good juicy piece of meat and suck it out. V'ligma chala, and he should swallow, sip some vinegar. V'ikadamri, some say chalaloi. He should not sip vinegar, he should not apply vinegar here, mishum de kashi lekavda, because it's harmful to one's liver. V'iloi, and otherwise, laisi gurda da sinta. If he wants an alternative medicine, if the other one doesn't work, what could he do? Laisi gurda da sinta, he should bring a piece of a bark from a bush. The grida, which was peeled off the bush, mi'iloi l'tatoi, from up down, meaning downward. That's how it was peeled off the bush. Not upward. Why? Perhaps it's going to cause that the worms, which were present in his liver, are going to come out through his mouth. So he should use only the bark which was peeled downward. And now, what should he do with these ingredients that he gathered? He should go ahead this bark. What should he do with this bark? V'lishalka, he should boil it. B'shichra, with beer. Be'shivivi, Rashi says bein hashmashos, during the twilight period. That's when he should boil it, should cook it together with the beer. Ulamachar, and on the following day, niskarinon l'nekaven the day, he should go ahead and close up his nostrils, so he doesn't smell the scent of this potion. V'lishti, and he should drink it. Mafni, and when he relieves himself, mafni avshicha de dikla, he should relieve himself on the strip portion of the palm tree. Continues the Gemara. V'shoisin abavroya. One may drink abavroya on Shabbos. Once again, this is something which many healthy people engage in, and therefore it's not obvious that it's a refuah. My abavroya. What is this? Says the Gemara. Chumatraya. My chumatraya. Chutri chida. This is a certain type of tree, a species which is a branchless tree. Chutri chida means one stick, so it goes up, doesn't have any branches. The Gemara doesn't describe exactly how he's meant to apply this remedy. Perhaps he soaks a part of the tree and makes some sort of drink from it. In any case, this is what he's meant to use. This is what Avroi is referring to. This type of drink produced from this tree. Lamaya avdilay. What do they make it for? What ailment is it coming to here? Lamaya avdilay. Legiluya. If one drinks water which was left open, exposed, and there's a concern that it was poisoned by a snake, so how is he meant to counter the poisoning of the snake? He goes in and drinks this juice, this drink. V'iloi, if he doesn't have access to this, what else can he do? Leisi chamisha klili. He should go and bring 5 roses. V'chamisha kusasa. The shecher 5 cups, 5 glasses of beer. And he should cook them, boil them together, the roses with the beer. Adekaima, he should cook it until it just evaporates, and it gets so concentrated. Adekaima, anpaka, until what's left is just an anpaka, which is the amount of a quarter of a lug of this formula. Finishti, and he should drink it. Says the Gemara, the mother of Echad ve'ami of the lay Gavra, she prepared for this certain person who drank exposed liquid. She prepared for him the following remedy: Chad klila, 1 rose, v'chad kusa the shich, 1 glass of beer. Shalka, she boiled them together, v'shkisai, and she gave him to drink. And afterwards, v'shogar tanura, and she fueled up the oven. V'garafte, and she swept away the coals to cool her off a bit. V'isvisei leventa begave, and she went ahead and she placed a brick in the oven so that he can go ahead and sit on the brick. So what happened? He took this medicine and he heated himself up in the oven, and he was healed. V'nafak kuhutza yarka, and out from him came a something which looked like a green leaf of a palm tree. So this was the effect of the poison that he ingested, which was extracted by this remedy. Rav Avi Amar, Ravi Asa, what is the proper method of dealing with this situation? Ravi Asa the chelva, a quarter of a lug of milk. What type of milk? Me'iza chivrasa, from white goat. So this is what he should take. The person who drank this exposed water in which perhaps a snake had deposited his poison, so he should drink this type of milk. Rav Huna bar Yehuda Amar, he says as follows. This is what he should do. Laisi esroiga chalisa. He should bring a sweet esrog, v'lechaike, and he should carve out the middle of the esrog, v'lemlaya duvsha, and fill it with honey, v'lusva be'milli denura, and he should place it with the honey inside, on top of these active coals, so that the esrog cooks up with the honey. V'lichli, and he should eat it. Rav Chanina Amar, meraglayim b'nei arboim yom. Bnei raglayim, which is 40 days old, has multiple therapeutic powers. Barzina, if he only takes a little bit, the size of a very small glass called barzina, a very small amount, a small amount of this meraglayim is heals a situation of lizibura, is used to counter the bite of a wasp. Rivi'ah, a quarter of a lug of this meraglayim, la'akrava, heals a situation where a person was stung by a scorpion. Palga river, this is referring to a half a lug amount of this meraglayim, ligiluya, will treat a situation where a person drank this exposed water, which contains the poison of a snake. River, if a person takes a large amount of this meraglayim, a lug, afil luk shafim malu. It's even effective. They're even effective to counter kshafim, the harmful effect of sorcery. Amar B'Yechanan, anigroin, juice from cooked beets, ve'avangar, juice which Rashi says is aseb, this type of grass, is shmoi bangari. This bangari grass was cooked in, so the water which was used to boil is bangar. Vitiraika, and balsam, malu. These things are all effective, bein ligaluya, to counter the effect of the snake poison contained in that exposed water, bein kshafim, or to counter the harmful effect of sorcery. Haiman de balachivya. What happens if a person swallows a snake? Luchle, they should feed him kishusa b'milcha, hops in with salt. V'lerahate, and they should get him to run tlosamili 3 mil. This will heat him up and will serve to extract and expel the snake within him. Rav Simi bar Ashi, chazi alu gavra de balachivya. He noticed this person who swallowed a snake. So Rav Simi wanted to help him. He appeared to him like a horseman and imposed on him to do the following. He gave him to eat keshusa, these hops with salt, and he imposed on him, he made him run. He made him run before him, a distance of 3 mil, and it helped him. And the snake left his body, came out, guvi, pieces. So due to the intense heat and the fatigue from running, etc., it killed the snake within him and caused to extract it. Ikadamri, some say, it was Rav Sima bar Ashi himself, that balachivya who swallowed the snake. Also, Yoel, came along, appeared to him like a horseman, so he gave him to eat these hops with salt, and had him run before him, at a distance of 3 mil. And the snake came out of him pieces. Continues the Gemara, Haiman de Taki Chivya, a person who was bitten by a snake, what should he do? He should bring the fetus of a white donkey, and he should go ahead and rip it, Veloisve ilaway, should tear it and place it on the snake bite, and this will remedy the bite. V'hani mili, and this is only the case if the leishtakach treifa, that the mother donkey was not found to be a treifa, to contain some critical life-threatening blemish, because otherwise this remedy will not be effective. So in summary, we learned the concept of refuah on Shabbos. As we know, it is based on the concern that the Chachamim concern that a person might go ahead and prepare it on Shabbos, grind up the herbs necessary to fashion this potion, this remedy. However, the Chachamim only apply this Isser in a case where it fits certain criteria. Two conditions need to be met. Number one, the person taking it needs to be unwell. Number two, the thing that he is taking, the object that he's ingesting, is something which is classified as a medicine. However, if it's something which is taken by many people, healthy people as well, that's not classified as refuah and it's mutter. So both conditions need to be met. The person needs to be unwell and the item needs to be considered a medicine. Otherwise, it will be mutter to be taken even on Shabbos.